Yirmiyahu, chapter 52. Sidqiyahu was 21 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Yirmiyahu of Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of Yahweh did it become in Jerusalem and Yehudah, until he had cast them out from his presence. And Sidqiyahu rebelled against the king of Babel. And it was in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nabuchodonosor, king of Babel, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and encamped against it, and they built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged to the 11th year of King Sidqiyahu. In the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine became mighty in the city, so that there was no bread for the people of the land. Then a breach was made in the city, and all the men of war fled, and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the gate between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. And the Kashdim were against the city round about, and they went toward the Arabah. But the army of the Kashdim pursued after the king, and overtook Sidqiyahu in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king, and carried him up to the king of Babel to Riblah in the land of Hamath, and he gave judgment upon him. And the king of Babel slew the sons of Sidqiyahu before his eyes. He slew also the princes of Yehudah in Riblah. And he blinded the eyes of Sidqiyahu, and the king of Babel bound him in fetters, and carried him to Babel, and put him in prison till the day of his death. Now in the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of King Nabuchodonosor, king of Babel, came Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard. He stood before the king of Babel into Jerusalem, and he burned the house of Yahweh, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, even every great house burned he with fire. And all the army of the Kashdim that were with the captain of the guard broke down all the walls of Jerusalem round about. Then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the poorest of the people, and the residue of the people that were left in the city, and those that fell away, that fell to the king of Babel, and the residue of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left of the poorest of the land to be vine dressers and land workers. And the pillars of brass that were in the house of Yahweh, and the bases and the brazen sea that were in the house of Yahweh, did the Kashdim break in pieces, and carried all the brass of them to Babel. The pots also, and the shovels, and the snuffers, and the basins, and the spoons, and all the vessels of brass wherewith they served, took they away. And the cups, and the firepans, and the basins, and the pots, and the lampstands, and the spoons, and the bowls, that which was of gold, in gold, and that which was of silver, in silver, the captain of the guard took away. The 2 pillars the one sea, and the 12 brazen bulls that were under the sea, and the 10 bases which King Shalomor had made for the house of Yahweh. The brass of all these vessels was without weight. And as for the pillars, the height of the one pillar was 18 cubits, and a line of 12 cubits did compass it, and the thickness thereof was 4 fingers, it was hollow. And a capital of brass upon it, and the height of the one capital was 5 cubits, with network and pomegranates upon the capital round about, all of brass. And the second pillar also had like these, and pomegranates. And there were 96 pomegranates on the sides. All the pomegranates were 100 upon the network round about. And the captain of the guard took Sharayah, the chief priest, and Zephaniah, the second priest, and the 3 keepers of the threshold. And out of the city he took an officer that was set over the men of war, and 7 men of them that saw the king's face, that were found in the city, and the scribe of the captain of the host, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the midst of the city. And Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, took them, and brought them to the king of Babel, to Riblah. And the king of Babel smote them, and put them to death at Riblah, in the land of Hamath. So Yehudah was carried away captive out of his land. This is the people whom Nabuchodonosor carried away captive. In the 7th year, 3,000 Yehudim, and 23. In the 18th year of Nabuchodonosor, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 souls. In the 23rd year of Nabuchodonosor, Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Yehudim 745 souls. All the souls were 4,600. And it was in the 37th year of the captivity of Jehoiachin, king of Yehudah, in the 12th month, in the 25th day of the month, that Ewil-Merodach, king of Babel, in the 1st year of his reign, lifted up the head of Jehoiachin, king of Yehudah, and brought him forth out of prison. And he spoke kindly to him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babel, and changed his prison garments. And Jehoiachin did eat bread before him continually all the days of his life. And for his allowance there was a continual allowance given him by the king of Babel, every day a portion, until the day of his death, all the days of his life.